Welcome back to the channel. Today we are showing off a brand new VEX build, which all that's required is the bod and a class mod. You can make things better, stronger, but typically that's all you need. So come here to Bod Location, who's one of the coolest bosses in the game in my opinion. We're going to shoot out his little hands and then we're going to focus on damage to him. So we're going to do this, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, we're going to, jump, gotta remember to jump. And then boom, now we're ready to go. So let's just, you know, shoot him and kill him. Sorted. Incredible damage. Insane damage. Let's pop our super. I always call it a super because of Destiny. And go to town. So yeah, didn't even need to use my class action. Pretty goddamn incredible damaging build. Let's get into it. So what is happening here? Essentially, we are using the bod, which counts as all types of weapons, and then we are buffing that up to the max. We are using a class mod, which is specifically built for this build in terms of allowing you to use Bloodshot, which does insane amounts of damage, and then we just spray, and that's it. So we'll get into the actual build. You can see here that just one little spray of a full clip is 5 million. But then if we pop our super and we pop our enrage kit, we can just absolutely spray and do 7.6 million. And if we can get off the reloading of the weapon, automatic reload using the Eldritch Blast, you can see that it's just endless damage. But however, you don't particularly need the endless damage and the reload and stuff like that, because you've seen how quick I killed Bod Location. It's just an insane setup. But that's specifically for boss damage. I actually have two setups here. One for ad clearing, general gameplay, and then you switch to this for the boss damage. So first and foremost, let's just look at the skill tree. Let's look at the specialization points, and then we'll get into splitting it up with the gear across the two builds. So over here in the red tree, we're going to go with enchantment. So bonus kinetic damage with guns while her action skill is active. So you pop your action skill, do more damage. And then we have the kill skill, restore a percentage of missing action skill duration. This is just an extra point that can go anywhere. I just stuck it here. You know, I couldn't really find anything that was worthy of it. It's just there, nice to get your action skill back. Then we go down the green tree. We have leeching attunement. So while Vex is attuned to kinetic, which she will be, she gains lifesteal and increased reload speed. That lifesteal is going to be very important for both builds. And then we go down to grave implements. So Vex and her minions gain increased gun damage, which is great. And then we have Grave Power. Vex kill skills gain increased max stacks. So, you know, the max stacks here are free. So with this, you'll get 6 stacks. So you can just pile through enemies in the ad clear up and just get more and more damage. And then we have material components. Vex gains increased kinetic damage and kinetic status effect. I only have 2 points in the air, 3 points in here just to get down. You could take that 1 point from the red tree and stick it into here if you like. It's completely up to you. I just felt it was probably better to try and get your action skill duration restored so you can just keep it up and keep it running. So then we have down here drink full. So whenever Vex deals gun damage, she gains a stack of drink is full, increasing her fire rate. Fire rate is just great for this build in general. We go down to mortal terror, chance to activate kill skills while critically hitting enemies, and this is very important. You're going to be going for criticals with the bod, so you will have a chance to trigger all of those kill skills, so the more gun damage and, you know, the faster fire rate, etc. So that is very important. Then we go over here to the right. So grave vitality gains increased maximum health capacity and health regeneration. A lot of our build is going to be built around, you know, the more health you have, the more damage you do. And then we go to bloodshot. So whenever Vex uses a rep kit, her next gunshot will become a bloodshot, converting damage dealt into kinetic damage and dealing bonus damage based on her current health. However, with the class mod we are using, you will have more of a chance to have this without actually needing to use your rep kit. Let me go over to Essence Leech. So Vex gains lifesteal, double this effect when action skill is active. More lifesteal equals better gameplay. Blood is power. Vex gains bonus kinetic damage with guns based on her current lifesteal when her health is full. So you are going to be constantly regenerating your health, having as much health as possible, which means you'll get bonus kinetic damage, which also ties into a lot of other things that we are going to look at. So for the action skill incarnate, essentially it says down there for your Eldritch Blast, dealing gun damage reduces Eldritch Blast's cooldown. So the more damage you're doing, the faster your Eldritch Blast comes back. And then that ties to Witchy Trigger Finger. So dealing damage with Eldritch Blast or Phase Explosion will fully refill the ammo of Vex's current gun. So you don't ever have to reload. You can just keep spraying and spraying and spraying. And also as well, every stack of Witchy Trigger Finger increases gun damage for a duration. So 15% extra gun damage per stack. You can have 3 stacks. I think this also counts the this one here, the Grey Power. I'm not entirely sure, but even if it doesn't, you still do incredible amounts of damage just for having Witchy Trigger Finger. But then we have Vibe Check as the capstone, and I don't think this is necessarily needed. I only put it on for that bottom perk. The Eldritch Blast's cooldown reduction from gun damage is doubled, so you get it back quicker. Now, something with the Bod, where you're spraying it and you got a small clip, that extra little boost to the reduction of cooldown is going to be very, very important. So that is what we are looking at in terms of our build, our skills. So now let's look at the specialization. So first and foremost, I went down to this perk here now with caffeine, reduce action skill cooldown whenever a rep kit is activated. This is not super necessary. It was just there from a previous build that I haven't changed yet. So that's 10 points in Sharpshooter, 10 points in Runner, 1 in Daredevil. However, most of your things are going to come from Survivor and Brute. So for Brute, 20 points down will get you to riddle you this. So as you're dealing gun damage, you gain stacks of riddle you this, increasing gun damage. So you can have 50 stacks, so extra 50% damage while you are damaging. Just free damage, essentially. You don't have to worry about anything. Then we have the Survivor tree, so 20 points will get you down to Bullets Are Scared of Me. The Vault Hunter gains increased damage reduction based on the fullness of their shield or health, whichever has the maximum capacity. And then we also have the Best Defense, so the Vault Hunter gains increased damage dealt based on the fullness of their shield or health, whichever has the maximum capacity. So these two perks just work in tandem to get you more damage and more damage reduction. Now, if you didn't want this one specifically, I just like, if my action skill hasn't got down yet, I just pop this and I'm ready to go. You can also go with Lead or Alive. So when entering Fight for Your Life, all your guns are automatically reloaded and the Vault Hunter gains increased fire rate. This is good because the Bod has a small clip, and let's say you die with 2 bullets left, you're going to fire 2 bullets and then you have to reload, and you're potentially not going to die, but you might as well just have them all reloaded. It's totally up to you. You can also have a look around and see what might work for you. However, these are the 3 most important perks here, here, and here. So first, we're going to start with our boss dealing damage build. Our rep kit is going to work for both builds, though it's not necessary for the ad clearing build. And this should also have Deadeye on yet, which I haven't put on yet, but this should also have Deadeye. So the Shiny Warpaint Chrome on use grants 30% fire rate and 30% movement speed, and reduces your cooldown of your rep kit by 2 seconds every time you take damage. So this is a decent, good perk to have. However, the Enrage is what's important here. So unused grants an increase to all damage dealt by 30% and all damage taken by 15% for 15 seconds. So you're just going to do an insane amount of damage with an insane amount of fire rate because of these 2 perks. However, you can just get Enrage on any one that you want to use. If you got one with 3 charges for healing, that's fine. I just like having both the fire rate and damage dealt in this build. Next up, Grenade, whatever you want. I went with this just because it's got Grenade Lifesteal. You know, it's not something I typically use, but it's just there in case I want to throw it out, and it's also got bullets to spare on. Now, this is where it's important for the 2 builds to coincide with each other. The class mod, the shield, and also the enhancement. So the enhancement is what we'll look at first. This is to do with just pure damage of the Bod. So we all know that the Bod is an all-arounder, so it counts as all types of guns: shotgun, assault rifle, sniper rifle, pistol, SMG. Any buffs to any of those guns will stack onto the Bod. However, with the Bod, you want one specifically with Daedalus, so secondary fire consumes sniper rifle ammo. It's going to give you a tighter spread of bullets. It's going to give you more damage per critical, and that's what you want to use for killing the bosses. The normal one, shotgun, you can use that for your ad clearing and stuff, which we'll get into, so it works for both parts. Also, make sure your Bod is kinetic only. It doesn't have any kind of burn on it, so it works with all the kinetic damage we are doing. The enhancement that I have is gun critical damage is increased by 50%, assault rifle critical damage is increased by 75%, and SMG critical damage is increased by 75%. So all 3 of those perks would improve the damage on my gun, and they will stack on top of each other. It won't just take one of the 75% and just add that on. All 3 of these will count. So anything with pure damage you can get. You could potentially get 2 perks like the assault rifle critical damage and SMG critical damage, and then get magazine size if you want to spray for longer. However, I found it's not really necessary. With how fast you reload as well, it's just easy to manage not having a big magazine. Bullets to spare on here as well, which we'll talk about also. Now, ideally, you can get all of these rolls on a daedalus actual enhancement, because I haven't had the chance to get a good roll on a daedalus enhancement. But you can see a stockpiler on reload, guns with daedalus licensed parts give up to 25% damage based on the amount of spare ammo for the currently equipped gun. I don't know how this will play with this gun, but it just sounds better than it would with any other type of enhancement. You just need to get lucky and get this rolled with the right perks. It took me ages to get one with 3 critical damages on it, but when I finally did, I was like, okay, cool, I've got it. Now, for the damage for the bosses, we are looking at the Timekeepers new shield. So all those perks where it was like maximum health capacity, you get more damage, you get more bonus lifesteal for the more health you have. This is where it's going to play into you nicely. So when equipped, grants 7,436 maximum health, 372 health regeneration per second, and reduces damage taken by 33%. This is just going to help you survive with bosses, but also do insane amounts of damage due to having the high health capacity, which, as you can see down here on the left, is a 15,000 health buff, and that's before it can grow during all your buffs and stuff. So you can see now I'm up to 16,000. So the Timekeeper's new shield is going to help you very much with single target boss damage. Now this is where the fun begins. So the Undead Eye class item, this one's pretty perfect because I get 5 extra points in Bloodshot, and then we also have sniper rifle damage but also kinetic damage. So the amount of damage I'm piling on top of here is unbelievable, and this was actually one of my first ever Undead Eye drops. I got very, very lucky. So the perk is killing an enemy with a sniper rifle will trigger Bloodshot, or critically hitting an enemy with a sniper rifle has a 33% chance to trigger Bloodshot. So 1 in 3 shots are going to make Bloodshot activate, which is insane amounts of damage, plus the 40% kinetic damage, the 45% sniper rifle damage, and all that critical damage. When Bloodshot pops, it will do insane amounts of damage. So the firmware here will have Deadeye on. I just haven't got around to putting it on yet. So you get gun accuracy, gun critical damage by 25%, another one, and then every critical hit grants 15% critical damage per stack for a maximum of 5 stacks for 10 seconds. So Deadeye will give you even more damage. And then we have bullets to spare. So I just went with this for the gun magazine size to get like 2 extra bullets in my Bod's clip. But you also get that gunfire rate of 5%, which is very, very nice as well. There potentially is something else you could throw on instead of bullets to spare. I just like it personally. So those are the setups for the boss damage and the firmware and stuff like that. The firmware won't really change. The specializations won't really change. However, the couple of things that will change is the shield. And we're going to go with the What's for Dinner with Amp on top of it. And then we'll also go with the shield, the Teen Witch, Shielded Teen Witch. So as you can see, this will keep you alive, survive against whole groups of enemies. We've got kinetic damage on this as well, which I got very lucky, and lifesteal. But the perk here is when Vex has maximum health, her lifesteal partially applies to shields. When Vex has maximum shield, her lifesteal partially grants overshield. So you're going to constantly be using your lifesteal that we have all throughout the build to constantly keep your shield in overshield. And then we have the What's for Dinner. So the important perk here to get on What's for Dinner is Amp. When energy shields are full, shots drain 28% of those shields for 100% gun damage. You're going to be increasing your gun damage dramatically, but you'll keep Amp pretty much forever because the lifesteal will replenish it. That 28% that gets taken away, it will replenish it almost immediately. On top of that, Overshield Eater, this perk, when energy shield is active, enemies have a 12% chance to drop an overshield when hit, so you can pick those up to get your overshield back. When overshield is also active, grants an extra 25% for shock damage. So if we just go into our shotgun mode here and we can just spray, you can see that while we're not doing insane amounts of damage, this is for ad clearing obviously, but you can see that down there in the bottom left, my overshield, it will just stay there forever like that. I'm doing shock damage as well on top of everything. So, you know, shields will go down pretty easily. You can also use this in sniper mode if you want. Like, there's no problem in doing that. It will do slightly more damage. However, just in general, you know, you're running around, you want to save your sniper ammo for bosses. Shotgun ammo with the what's for dinner and everything will just come in nicely because you'll just survive. So let's go show that off. So we are here at my favorite drilling site, the Foundry Freaks, and there's a reason also why I have the Firepot on. So add clearing stuff like this, where I'm going to be killing a whole bunch of enemies, typically 3 bosses that come out with big shields. They need to just be taken care of as fast as possible. So the Firepot definitely comes into play there. So you can see even now the bod, oh, there's an invisible guy there. Even now the bod is just utterly phenomenal. With the gun damage, the overshields, everything, all the damage just stacks dramatically. Everything still counts, obviously, because it's the bod, so all enhancement perks and stuff will still stay true for the shotgun. Oh, he's there again. Come here, bud. All right, let me just throw this out because I can't see him. The only issue with this gun at times is obviously that you run out of ammo. So you might want to have another weapon in backup. So like a 7th Sense or something, which I don't have equipped at the moment. But as you can see, look, all of my, everything I'm doing here just stays, overshield just stays, because I don't have to worry about anything. So fire rate with my enraged thing also helps as well. Just tear through enemies, it's unbelievable. I love it so much. Both builds, one for the bosses, one for just general ad clearing, staying alive, all that stuff. Ah, I just love it. I love it so much. Right, let's get you all out of the way. The good thing about this is that even if you do run out of shotgun ammo, you can obviously just switch to the sniper ammo as well and use that. So we have a whole lot of different ways to do damage. So right now I'm going to throw out my fire pots and hopefully get the big guy at the back, which I didn't by the looks of it, which is annoying. Let's get my enrage going. Come here, Hank, the welder. Right, okay, let's throw you over there. Get my shields, my over shields. I'm gonna run out of ammo soon. Come on, buddy. Oh, I was about to throw my grenade then. That would have been funny because it would have literally just bounced off his head. Right, let's go sniper mode and finish him off. Pow. There we go. Sorted and nice. So obviously, like, when you're running around, you ain't going to really do dramatic amounts of damage, but it's still a viable build. You keep yourself alive. You obviously just need to worry about ammo. So if you're not going to use the bod all the time or you run out of ammo, make sure you just got a secondary weapon on that you can use. Or make sure you have the Daedalus one, which I suggest anyway, just because of the boss damage. You'll be able to switch to the sniper. I'm stuck in this goddamn sucky thing. I hate them sucky things so much. Pow. Right, let's do this. Let's put this in, and then we can just absolutely tear things apart. Pow. Oh my god, I love it so much. This is by far the best build, which obviously will be after crit build, because crit knife is gonna get nerfed. Now, I don't want this video to be too long, but I'll very briefly show you where to find everything for this build. So the bod itself is from Axmal. So this is a farm you can also do as a duo and just keep respawning him over and over again. So we have Final Defiance fast travel station, and we're just going to run into Dominion. This is like where you first enter. You'll see a whole bunch of order enemies here. You want to turn left, go to these steps, and then go through this little wall opening. And then you will find that it is just over here, this little glittery wall. That is to get through to Axmal. So for the shiny war paint, and really lock in for this, because this is going to be one of the longest grinds you do for this build. Because to not only get the shiny war paint to drop is ridiculous, to get it within rage is even harder. So you want to come over here to the right hand side of the map, and we're going to head down to this drilling site, the old Scrape Meathead Riders. So we'll just go down there now. I'll show you how quick it is to get there. This is going to be kind of like your... This is going to be your hardest and most annoying grind. I did this for 8 hours. I'm telling you now, I did this for 8 whole hours. And I did not get a single enrage version of this. But I did get 3 drops over 8 hours for the shiny war paint. So this is going to be your ridiculous grind. However, there is a way you can make it a little bit easier. And I've shown this on other videos. I'll link it down below. But essentially, after you've done the whole drilling site, you can just teleport away. So like down here to Deep 7 silo, and then teleport back. And when you come here, as long as you don't hit the board, the big encore board, I don't even know what it's called, you'll be able to just run straight in and kill the boss. But I'll link that down below for you to go and check out. Next up, we have the Firepot grenade. You can use any grenade you want. If you want this one specifically, you need to do, I think, 5 side quests, which is based up here in the Carcadia faction town. You'll see a bunch of quests here that are called like Enter the Electi 1, Enter the Electi 2. They will all be around this area here. If you just follow them through, you'll eventually get to leader Willem, and he is based over here just north of Dominion, and your closest order silo is Rustical Hurl. I'm not going to take you to him because, you know, it's just a long extra bit of the video that we don't need. So just make sure you do the side quests and then just go and find him and travel to him. You'll be taken to him during the side quest anyway, so that's very helpful. So starting with boss damage, the Undead Eye can be found at Violicta. So Violicta is up here in the top right hand corner of the map in the Umbral factory. You want to just run through to him and kill him, and he is the coolest, best boss in the game, but he doesn't have a great drop rate. But you should get this more often than you get most of the other things that he drops, from my experience anyway. So that is where you get the Undead Eye. For the Timekeepers shield that we use for boss damage here, you guessed it, you get it from the Timekeeper himself, which is center of Dominion. We go up to the upper Dominion and then just spawn over here at this fast travel station, run all through this area, all up here, and then we get to the Timekeeper just over here. Your enhancements, obviously, just completely random. You just got to get lucky. But if we swap now over to our ad clearing build, the shield itself, the What's for Dinner, this is going to be quite a grind as well, comes from the Vault Boss Origo, which is over here in the top right. So Arch of Origo. I hate this vault, by the way, because I can never find it because it's inside a cave. And the echo line that takes you to it is so frustratingly annoying. There's another place you need to go to. So the line will essentially take you like over here somewhere. You want to go to this part here. And then there's a little jumpy cavey bit that you can go to, which I'm going to show you now. So if you come from here, the Heritage Opus, and travel up, you'll come across this nice little bridge with a thing just above it. You carry on down to where my light is, and you'll be able to jump over to another ledge, which it's not clear at all, you know, what you're supposed to do. But if you go over to this here and through there, you will find the vault. And last but not least, the Shielded Teen Witch or Team Witch class mod comes from the other vault monster, Primordial Guardian Radix. Now, this is not a fun grind, but I have this drop very often from this boss. So, you know, if you're as lucky as I am, you'll probably get it more often, hopefully, than anything else. But these are all the brief kind of descriptions of all these areas where you need to go and farm all of this stuff. I'm sorry I couldn't take you to each one of them, because then the video would be like an extra 20 minutes. So I hope this helped in some way, shape or form. I love this build. I think it's the best build for VEX in the game after Crit Knife, which will probably be patched by the time this video comes out. And yeah, it's just a lot of fun. I love it so much. Try it out. Let me know what you think down below. Thank you for watching. I've been easy. Now you guys have been awesome.